We'll come on to more pressing matters in a second, but first of all, how have you found getting used to life at Doncaster Rovers this season?
Yeah, it's been good. It's been up and down, I'd say, but I think like the group we've got, the lads we've got, and the staff as well. When I first come, they really made me feel at home and made me feel welcome, and it's just helped me settle into a new environment. It was the first time I've moved away, so I can't thank the lads enough, especially for making me welcome.
And what are the kind of key differences you found as you play at the higher level then, in terms of adapting your game to get used to being involved against the better teams in League Two?
I think it's the speed of everything. I think it's the physicality. I think it's just a step up in intensity where you've got to be able to not only match it but be better than that, especially the way I play. I'm not going to be throwing people off the ball as much, but you just need to be able to get away from them, and it's about knowing where you are on the pitch and just getting used to the speed. I think it took me a couple of weeks, to be honest, to get up, and then I've been up and down, but hopefully I can just keep building and getting more and more used to it.
I suppose it's always going to be a kind of evolutionary process, isn't it? There's never really going to be a time when you've cracked it. For any footballer, there's always something to learn.
Yeah, exactly. I think if you ever get comfortable, I think that's a very dangerous position to be in. I think you've always got to be striving for improvements, whether that's like playing or off the pitch, but you've just got to be ready to improve your game. And I think with the players we've got and the staff we've got, then there's not really a better place for it at the minute.
No, and of the players that play or have played a similar role to you, do you kind of sort of look at them and see how they go about it as well?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, particularly Hursty, me and him have got a great relationship, being very similar players, and in terms of stature and the way we play, I think he's an unbelievable footballer, and I think just looking at him and like the way he plays and stuff, but then also Harry Clifton, the way he plays as well, and just like picking both of them, and it's healthy competition, like we've said all year, and it's good to have because it pushes everybody.
Because all of that kind of preamble was leading up to the fact that just before you jumped on the Zoom, the manager was talking about the fact that you'd had a conversation recently about where you were stood, the positioning that ultimately led to the goal at Hull City. And when the manager gives you that feedback, what confidence does that give you then for going forward? Yeah,
especially in the way I don't think I'd really been in the squad, and he put me in against Hull, which is obviously a massive game for the club, and it just puts you in a good place, like you feel good about yourself. If the gaffer's trusting you, then you've got to repay the faith. And I thought of it as a sort of sink or swim moment, really, in terms of getting in the team. I had to do as best as I can to give myself the best chance of staying in there. And just when I saw the ball go to Miles and he put it in, I was buzzing because I got the assist, and it was just, I was glad to repay the faith, I think was the main thing.
Because it's 2-2 now, so, and obviously positive outcomes in both games, shootout win and then the victory at Gillingham. How much kind of hope do you think that, right, for the next few matches I'm here, it's my place to lose?
I can only look at the next match. I've got to do my job whenever I'm picked, whether I'm picked Saturday or whether I'm not. It's just about impacting the game in the way I know I can and what I've been brought to the club for, and it's about showing that. And if I get the spot, it's about keeping it, because I know there's a lot of lads that are knocking on the door being like, oh, I want to be there. So it's just good competition to have, but it makes you realise that you can't ever, like I said earlier, get too comfortable, and you've always got to be putting your best foot forward and making sure you're making yourself look the best you can.
For you and players like Kyle, on whom, you know, there is creative responsibilities, etc., if you get that one moment or two moments within a game, do you kind of feel that pressure in a league that generally is probably more physical?
Yeah, I mean, just going off my game against Gillingham, I had two opportunities: one to play Moles, one to play Sharpie, and neither came off, and it was a bit of a disappointing moment. But it's just about how you react, and Hursty's the same, and everybody's the same that plays in the position. Pressure's a privilege if you get it, and it's the way of, you've got to show what you can do, and you want them moments to fall to you, because it could be the difference between winning or losing games.
Yourself and look, quite a few others at Doncaster Rovers are working their way up within their careers out of the National League system or further down the track, I suppose. What do you think that says about the tiered system and where we're at, and actually the pretty high volume of players that are playing there that have real chances to move through the leagues?
Yeah, I think in my case, when I left Burton, it was about just getting regular game time, and I think the non-league systems evolved a lot in terms of before it was very much head it and kick it, and let's see who can push each other about the most. But I think now, especially when you look at the teams that are towards the top of the league, they're very good footballing sides. They're very good at what they do, and I don't think in certain teams there's not a big gap between the ones at the bottom of League Two necessarily and the top ones of the National League. So it's good to see people getting the chances, and obviously the clubs in the EFL have got to give them, but it's you've got to earn it, and it's a good place to go and get games, especially for young lads. It's a great place to go.
I suppose it tends to come in waves when people like me might notice the volume of players that have maybe done and followed paths similar to yourselves. But do you think that Leagues 1, 2, the Championship at the minute, and maybe over the last maybe 3 or 4 years, are looking at that level for the younger players and thought, well, we'll take a chance on them rather than possibly getting nothing different out of a Premier League academy?
Yeah, I mean, obviously each place has got its benefits, but I think especially in the National League, if you're playing against men, you're playing proper football where, especially in non-league, I've known people have mortgages on the line if we get promoted that will help them out. There's a lot of my mates that are part-time, so they've got other jobs as well. So it's about different risks, especially off the pitch, in terms of what could be the difference between them being able to pay the bills or something, or just something like that, which is like just a normal thing to have. But in terms of football, you don't really think about that because everybody thinks we're on loads of money. But it's just a different sort of problem to have. But I think it's good when people go to National League because you get a different taste about what football's about.
Because it's a different kind of mentality forming, isn't it? You know, I assume you told me you constantly feel as though you're having to strive.
Yeah, definitely. I think, especially when you're playing there, you're always wanting to go up to the EFL. That's what you want to do. You don't want to stay in there. And I think, especially this window, we've seen a lot of people getting moves from the non-league system up to the EFL, and it's refreshing to see because we've seen a lot of talent over the years that have gone and then gone again as well. So it's just a good place to go, get your football, learn your trade, and then build on it. So,
given the fact that when we spoke to you earlier in the season, possibly even before a ball was kicked, it was about promotion. What can happen this season with regard to Doncaster Rovers on the back of nearly getting there last year? So as we sit here now, 23rd of January, all signs look positive.
Yeah, I mean, obviously we can be better. We know that, but it's just so tight up there. We've just got to keep focusing on ourselves each game as it comes, and getting as many 3 points on the board, and hopefully going on a run. I think, obviously I wasn't here last year, but the lads spoke about the run that they went on and they felt invincible, and it's about getting that feeling back and just getting the wins, but taking it game by game, not looking forward to any in particular game, just whatever the next one is.
So as you've ditched Solihull and come to this part of the world, how many times in the last week have you heard, Doncaster Rovers have never beaten Harrogate in the league and all that? Time to change that statistic.
Yeah, I mean, we've touched on it as a group. I think they've had a good run of form against us, but we don't really. Obviously, it adds to how much you want to win, but we want to win each game. So it could be anybody that we're playing Saturday, and we'd want to win. So it doesn't really faze us.